you ever felt.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
So I'm back with my food, y'all. I'm back in the house. I had to get away from those people out there. I had to go. So I'm eating my Subway sandwich. And hold on. I know y'all like, what is she doing? Get focused, lady. Get focused. I got this. Even the box is different. The box is even different. I used to tear me some apple pie up. I did. I used to tear me some apple pie up. This is root beer. How many of y'all drink root beer? Cause my son, he made it clear that he don't like nobody root beer. I was like, you don't know what you talking about. Talking about you don't like no root beer. He tripping. He tripping. So I had a good day today. I'm so hungry, y'all. First meal of the day. And it's almost 5 o'clock. That's crazy. I ain't eating out all day. First meal of the day. So, remember in a previous video, one of my previous videos, I was telling y'all about it's so good. I'm so sorry, y'all. So remember the guys that I told you about when I first moved to Virginia? So what happened? So he wound up moving back, because remember I told y'all he had moved out, right? And he had took all his stuff and he got moved out. So he wound up moving back to the new house that I was moving to. We were good. We were Gucci. We was good, right? So remember the lady that I told y'all that when my daughter was taking the garbage out, there was this lady that had asked for him. Right? And when he came back in the house, he started crying. Well, it didn't actually go that way. He actually came in the house. You know, men and some females, y'all need to be, if y'all gonna play this game that y'all playing out here, y'all should know the game before y'all do it. It's like you stepping in some hot water. You're gonna test it before you stick your hand in it or your feet in it, right? Okay. So he came back in and he said, I was like, who was that? So at the time, he used to work for cable. And he was like, oh, it was a customer. And she was coming to discuss her boxers that he had installed for her. Oh, he installed some boxes. Okay. He installed some boxes. But it wasn't no cable boxes. So I looked at him like he was crazy. Because I wanted to know if he thought I was freaking stupid. Because somebody coming to your house, I think it wasn't late because my kids were still up. It wasn't late. But the time that she came, it was still inappropriate of the time that she came. So he started looking at my face like, oh, I can't pull that one. Because she's seeing right through me. I sure am. Sure did. So, as I said in the beginning, this woman kept coming to my house. It got bad, y'all. It got real, real, real bad. And then I was like, you gotta go. Because I moved down here to do better. I moved down here to change myself and become decent. So and then I'm trying to think. The barber winds up, years later, the barber winds up calling me up again. Asking me, hey, how you doing? How's the family? How's everybody? Yada, yada, yada. Now, mind you, me and old boy had broken up for good this time. He about doing whatever it is that he do. Whatever it is that he do. So the barber asked me if he could take me out on a date. And he used to always ask to take me out, always ask to want to hang out with me and stuff like that. And I used to always be like, no. Because like I said, I still had a little bit of unfinished business, toxic stuff going on. Then I'm not. Because I'll get mad if you bring me into your toxic world and you didn't tell me about it or whatever the case may be. So, me and the barber, we started kicking it. But the barber never told me that he had a girlfriend. So now I'm starting to think something is wrong with all of these men. All these men. Like, are y'all not happy with the people that y'all with? I'm confused. I would have expected more from the barber. Than I did. Oh boy. So we're gonna call the first dude Dread. Because I think I mentioned that in the first one that he had dread. He's Dread. That's who he is. I got everybody calling him Dread. Whenever I tell a story about him, they be like, who you talking about, Dread? There you go. That's who he is, Dread. Hold on. I was like, but I didn't know that the barber had a girlfriend out of town. So I go out with the barber for a few times. You know, we just friends. There's nothing serious. There's none of that. I goes up to his barbershop. You know, just say, hey, hi, how you doing? Or whatever. Kick it with him for a little while. Or whatever. So, moving forward, the Dread had started coming back around again, but it wasn't like a relationship thing. We were just more friends of anything at this time. I wasn't with anybody. I was by myself. I wasn't dating anybody, sleeping with anybody. I wasn't doing nothing. So the Dread had pulled a female move and went into my phone and saw the barber. Saw the barber's text messages and phone calls in my phone. And thought to himself that he would call the barber. The barber is about to get a new name, and I'm about to tell you why. The barber, so Drake calls up the barber and make it seem like we was in this relationship. We was together for X amount of time, years. He went the fuck in, okay? He just went in. So the barber, Drag wanted to know from the barber, how do you know my girl? And I'm looking like, I'm not your girl, and I'm not nobody's girl. So I'm sitting here because I'm like, I want to see what the barber is going to tell the Dread, right? When I say run your mouth like a bitch, he ran his mouth like a bitch. I didn't know guys do that. I didn't know guys tell another guy detail for details of what they did with you with a whole nother. Where they do that shit at? Because let me tell you something. If somebody come to me and press me about another like a dude or something, they pressing up on me. First thing I'm going to say is, first of all, I don't know you. Second of all, how did you get my phone number? And third of all, you need to go check him. Right? Because that's what I said when I finally bumped heads with the female that Dredd was talking to. Because see, what we not about to do that, we ain't about to do that. So, and then the barber started adding extra shit in the game that didn't even need to be said. So I'm just hot. I'm like, I'm really serious about like, where do they do this at? So the barber gets off the phone with the Dread. The Dread is hot. He hot. I'm like, what you mad for when you had a whole female come to my door? Like, are you serious right now? First of all, I'm not with neither one of y'all. So now, at this point, I don't lose respect for the barber now because first of all, you don't know who that was on your phone. That's number one. Number two, you sitting here talking to somebody that you don't even know who you're talking to. And number three, you giving out information not knowing if you put me in danger. And he did. He put me in danger. I had a cousin who did nails, who did feet, and and he needed some help, and at his barbershop. So I was bringing him in clients. I was bringing him people to work for him, like so he could make booth rent and all this kind of stuff. So him and my cousin winds up getting into an argument because me and Dred winds up getting into a huge altercation over something that neither one of y'all know what y'all talking about. So then my cousin and the barber gets into it because she's like, you was petty for what you did. So the barber been petty from day one. Right? As far as the barber, I should have left the barber alone and stopped talking to him even as a friend way back then. Because when you did that, that told me a whole lot about who you are. And then you have a whole girlfriend. Nope, I'm getting too far in the story. So that all passes by. Me and Dre, we still not together or whatever. The barber continuously calls me, continuously asks me out, and after a while, I forgave him for, the stunt that he pulled or whatever. We started back speaking up again. So instead of the barber telling me he has a girlfriend and that he has a live-in girlfriend, she pops up on me. I'm like, yo, what is it in the water out here in the state of Virginia? Like, people don't know how to tank. I'm confused. I'm so confused. So this female pulls up to the barbershop. The barber is sitting in his chair. I'm standing on one side of him. And he sees that the woman that he lives with just pulled up in his car. And he still's not saying nothing. The woman comes into the shop, and she stands next to him. He's still not saying anything. It took me and a female to say something. The girl, she asked the barber, she was like, who's this? And he was like, this is my friend. So I didn't say nothing because we were friends. But we were more than just friends. So, I asked the barber, because like I said, I don't go to the person. I go to the source. I was like, who's this? He's not answering. He didn't answer me when I asked him who was her. So she goes, your friend? I was like, I'm sorry, sweetheart, but what is your relationship to him? Because me and him are very, very, very close. So she was like, that's my whole fiance. That's what we doing? How old are you? That's what we doing? You chased me down for how many years? Kept trying to ask me out. Kept trying to and those are the at least when I met you, I was grown enough. I was, I was mature enough to come to you and let you know, hey, I really have something that I wasn't in, but it was kind of messy. But I still let him know what was going on, and that I didn't want to bring him into it. Like I said, I moved down here and wanted a fresh start, so I didn't want all that. I wanted to just get rid of that altogether. So why I couldn't get the same respect in return? So she was like, she was his fiance. And I was like, is that true? That's your fiance? So he was like, he said, no, they weren't engaged, right in front of the girl. And she was like, oh my God, you just left my house. You just left my house. I said, you spent the night at her house? She was like, he lives with me. I said, what the? Are you serious? So now, I stayed there. I wasn't going anywhere. I stood right there. I don't know who this female is. I don't know where she came from, but all I know is this man kept being in my phone, my text messages, my DMs. And we was hanging out tough. So going forward, the same thing that happened with Dread happened with the barber. He was messing with this female, kept telling me that he wasn't messing with her no more. He doesn't stay with her anymore. He moved out. And I was like, okay, because, that's not me. I'm not messing with nobody else's property. I'm not doing that. So we started hanging out again and we started being tight. And come to find out, he never left the girl alone. He was continuously staying with the girl. And guess what? And to put the icing on the cake, the girl lived right around the corner from my house where I lived. She lived so close to my house, I could have walked to her house. Like I could look out my back door and I could see her house. You heard what I said. And meanwhile, he's still inviting me to his barbershop. And the girl started doing him real bad. Real bad. Because like I said, she lives in my neighborhood. Well, she used to. Not anymore. A girl used to live in my neighborhood. I already told myself I wasn't going to be with the barber because I see how you get down. And I see what you're about. And we could just be friends. Right? The barber wasn't hearing that. So we became real friends. We stayed friends. He always wanted to be with me, but it was never an opportunity for us to be together because he was always mixed up, the barber. He was always mixed up in some kind of female, and I was not getting myself, because I'm like, I moved from this kind of stuff. I met somebody here, and no, I'm good. So anyway, the girl used to work in Walmart. Every time I would go to Walmart, I would see her. I didn't know she worked there. I just went there one day to get some items for the house. This girl followed me around the whole freaking Walmart. Then I went into Family Dollar. She worked in Family Dollar. Then one day my daughter used to work in Red Lobsters. And my daughter told me he took the female to Red Lobsters, I guess on a date or whatever. And him being him, he took her to the one that my daughter worked at. You think my daughter is not going to come home and tell her mother that you are on a date with a whole nother female? And my kids see you with their mom. They see you. Like, they see you. They see me and him them together. Like, you think she's not gonna come back and tell me? So, the next day, nope. The very same day, I called him. And I said something about it. About the Red Lobster thing. He said he wasn't on no date with her. He wasn't at no Red Lobster. I said, are you sure about that? He was like, yeah, I wasn't at no Red Lobster. I was like, okay. I went to Family Dollar. I didn't know she worked at Family Dollar. Went to Family Dollar and saw her behind the register. I said, ain't this a blimp? So, instead of me going to the other cashier register, I went to her register. And I made her ring up my stuff. And I was like, I know you on the clock and you're working, but when you finish ringing up my stuff, I need you to come outside. And he was like, came outside. I said, I'm sorry, but is you and Dumbo? That's his new name, y'all. Dumbo. I said, is you and Dumbo still dating? Are y'all still messing around or whatever? She was like, yeah, he lived with me. He never moved out. I said, you sure? She said, I should know. I said, was you on a date with him at Red Lobster's yesterday? She was like, yeah, we went out to dinner. We went out to eat. She said, hold on for a minute. She gets Dumbo on the phone. She gets Dumbo on the phone. She questions Dumbo. Dumbo lied. With me standing right there in front of her. Dumbo lied and said he didn't know what I was talking about. He haven't seen me in years. I mean, months. He haven't seen me in months. He haven't been talking to me. Haven't done anything. So they was like, I want you to get your stuff and get out of my house. There's a part 3 to this. It gets more juicier with Dumbo. Because we're finished with Dread. Dread is gone. The female, she had to go because I was about to shake, rattle, and roll her. And she came to my house one more time. She had one more time. One more. Matter of fact, she had a half of a one to come back to my house. But if you want a part 3 to what happens with Dumbo, you know what? Dumbo gets more juicier than Dread. Okay? Dumbo gets way more juicier than Dread. I swear to God, when I come back with part 3, I swear to God, y'all better have y'all popcorns. But before I come back with part 3, y'all need to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Share this video with any and everybody that you know. Your mother, your father, your cousin, your sister, your uncle. I don't care who it is. Just share it and smash that like button so that when I put up new videos, you will be notified. So stay tuned in Tisha's room. Peace.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.